So I'm watching the Walter Cronkite of our time, Rachel Maddow. Here she is now. She's doing day 28 straight coverage of the Bridgegate scandal. She's got the flight log. She has the helicopter flight log that Chris Christie took after he left the 9/11 memorial. Well, I think it was day 2 or day 3 of the bridge being shut down. I'm waiting for the forensic evidence. I don't know when she's going to get that from who actually pushed the email. I think that she might get to that next week. So, and I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen with that, is I'm actually starting to like Chris Christie again. All those hardcore Republicans, the real conservatives that have soured a little bit on Chris Christie because he's been so far in the middle and just playing a politician and doing whatever he can to be elected president, all the people that have gotten sick of Chris Christie about that, like I have, watching the media over and over and over again blow this out of proportion, they're actually starting to bring Chris Christie back. And I'm actually starting to like Chris Christie a little bit better now. So I flip on there, and then I go one of the talk shows. It's a non-political talk show, and they're talking about successful long-term relationships. They did a thing on these professional relationships. Then it went into marriages and people that have been around 25, 30 years, 40 years that still had that spark, still had that passion. And the thing that came out of it was that whether it might be 6 months, might be 10 months, might be a year and a half, but after 2 years, you're not going to be shocked all the time. You can't be just wowed every day. And also, with that, I know that I didn't see a same-sex couple there, so somebody better call the FCC and get that station banned and thrown off the air. But with that, I wake up today and I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to remember about that. After 2 years, it's impossible to still be wowed, and it's impossible to still be shocked. Well, Obama, this president, and this administration is the exception to the rule, and this guy never ceases to amaze me, whether it's with the lies, the corruption, or the blatant incompetence. I don't know how I can read the news every single day and actually still be outraged, still be shocked, still be in awe. Here it is, year 6, every single day. I pick up the newspaper, I log online, I'm still getting the wow factor. Let me take you through today. I read the New Yorker piece that he did, and not the piece about how whites, some of them don't like him because he's black, but some of the blacks do like him more because he's black. Not that. What actually got missed in this story, which I could not believe. After the year that this man had last year, leading up to the rollout of Obamacare, and then the Obamacare rollout, the fact that he would actually, not that he just does this, that he would even admit this, he actually said in the article, with as bad of a year as he has had, with his incompetence being exposed, his ideology being exposed, his blatant corruption being exposed, he offers up to this writer, well, you know, one of the benefits now of the girls being older is he socializes more. And now he's the guy that, I don't know if he thought that this was for his post-retirement. I don't know if he thought that this interview was going to air in 3 years. But anyway, now when he's socializing, he's the guy in the week that it's midnight, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. He's the guy that's trying to make a martini, another martini, and get everybody to stay, and everybody else is leaving. That's what he actually admits when here's the guy that you have his schedule online. He shows up to the office at 11 o'clock 3 out of the 5 days a week. 1 out of the 5 days a week, he usually doesn't even show up. This is the same guy who receives his daily intelligence briefings once about every 3 days. His daily intelligence briefings, daily, he gets once out of every 3 days. He actually admits that. Then it moves on. I put on the news. They've got the live hearings of the IRS hearings. And that's funny because the president told me when I watched his interview 4 days earlier with Bill O'Reilly when he was shaking around like a bobblehead doll that the IRS scandal, not only that they're not finding, that's over, Bill. That's done. That's over with. Nothing happened. Well, I guess they're running reruns every single news program today because they're showing the IRS hearings 4 days after not only are they over, but Obama's already concluded his decision, and it moves on to that. There's a woman that is testifying that was supposedly harassed by the IRS. Now, this woman, if you were making a Lifetime movie and you had to cast a soccer mom, a PTA mother, a suburban mother that looks like she's probably never done any harm to anybody in her life. That just looks like the nicest possible woman you could ever meet, would look exactly like this lady. And she goes into her testimony because she had the audacity to start a group called True the Vote that would monitor polls on election day to make sure that the rules were being followed. So she had the audacity to do that. So her husband and her had been in business for themselves prior to this for 20 years, never once been audited by the IRS. And since I think it was either 2010 or 2011, they had now been audited 15 different times. And OSHA shows up to their place of business unannounced. And even though they did not find anything serious or anything that could be very dangerous, they were still issued a $20,000 fine. The ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, they had conducted audits. I never knew that they did audits before. And the FBI, I think it was 6 different times, had investigated them for domestic terrorism. I mean, can you see the blatant corruption out of this administration? And from there, the same day the story comes out of, here's the map for you, of the Obama bundlers that raised a lot of money for them in the campaign that are now ambassadors all over the world. And this is the same day that the soap opera producer for The Bold and the Beautiful testified in the Senate hearings, was actually asked if she knew the American strategies to Hungary. She'd just been appointed. Didn't know. Didn't have the answer. This is what I can't understand. Wouldn't you, if you pulled off a scam, you raised a lot of money, and because of that, you're going to be named to a position you have no right whatsoever doing, wouldn't you at least learn the basics if you know that you're going to have to testify on the Senate floor? How corrupt is it really if this is a lack of effort that they're putting into it? And Norway, by the way, a couple of the politicians have actually nominated Edward Snowden to be the ambassador to Norway because they were so outraged at the recent appointee by Obama to be their ambassador in Norway that he had no idea what language they spoke. He didn't realize they were a monarchy and had no idea who the political powers were even in power. Such an absolute joke, such a piece of incompetence. It blows my mind. And it keeps getting worse and worse every single day. I mean, how can you still be shocked every single day when you read the newspaper, when you look at the news, when you follow what's going on with the lies, the corruption, the blatant incompetence? But Barack Obama, 6 years in, still has the wow factor. Every single day I read the news. And these stories, I tell you, say what? What is that? The highlights of the year? The highlights of the month? Nope. It's a typical Thursday in February in the Obama administration.